I loved hanging out by the campfire after dark. I loved the way bits of fire dust would float up and disappear right into the night air, and how the fire lit up people's faces. I loved the sound the fire made too. Pop, pop. And how the woods were so dark that you couldn't see anything around you, and you'd look up and see billions of stars in the sky. Wow, that's awesome, guys. Why do you think we don't get to see that so much out here? Maybe because we have city lights, right? But out in the nature, you could see it all up there. Unless there's clouds in the sky. Okay, the sky doesn't look like that in North River Heights. I've seen it look like that in Montauk, though. Like someone sprinkled salt on a shiny black table. I was so tired when we got back to the cabin that I didn't need to pull out the book to read. I fell asleep almost as fast as my head hit the pillow. And maybe I dreamed about the stars. I don't know. The fairgrounds. The next day was just as great as the first day. We went horseback riding in the morning, and in the afternoon, we rappelled up some ginormous trees with the help of the nature guides. By the time we got back to the cabins for dinner, we were actually really tired again. And after dinner, they told us that we had an hour to rest, and that then we were going to take a 15-minute bus ride to the fairgrounds for an outdoor movie night. I hadn't had the chance to write a letter to Mom and Dad and Via yet, so I wrote one telling about all the stuff we did that day and the day before. I pictured myself reading it to them out loud when I got back, since there was just no way that the letter would get home before I did. When we got to the fairgrounds, the sun was just starting to set. It was about 7:30. The shadows were really long on the grass, and the clouds were pink and orange. It looked like someone had taken the sidewalk chalk and smudged the colors across the sky with their fingers. It's not that I haven't seen nice sunsets before in the city, because I have. Slivers of sunsets between buildings, but I wasn't used to seeing so much sky in every direction. Out here in the fairgrounds, I could understand why ancient people used to think the world was flat and then the sky was a dome that closed in on top of it. That's what it looked like from the fairgrounds in the middle of this huge open field. Because we were the first school to arrive, we got to run around the field all we wanted until the teachers told us it was time to lay our sleeping bags on the ground and get good viewing seats. We unzipped our bags and laid them down like picnic blankets on the grass in front of the giant movie screen in the middle of the field. And then we went to the row of food trucks parked at the edge of the field to load up on snacks and sodas and stuff like that. There were concession stands there too, like at farmers market, selling roasted peanuts and cotton candy. And up a little farther was a short row of carnival-type stalls, the kind where you can win the stuffed animal if you throw a baseball into a basket. Jack and I both tried and failed to win anything, but we heard Amos won a yellow hippo and gave it to Jimena. That was the big gossip that went around, the jock and the brainiac. From the food trucks, you could see the corn stalks in the back of the movie screen. They covered about a third of the entire field. The rest of the field was completely surrounded by woods. As the sun sank lower in the sky, the tall trees at the entrance to the woods looked dark blue. By the time the other school buses pulled into the parking lots, we were back in our spots on the sleeping bags, right smack in front of the screen, the best seats in the whole field. Everyone was passing around snacks and having a great time. Me and Jack and Summer and Reed and Maya played Pictionary. We could hear the sounds of other schools arriving, the loud laughing and talking of kids coming out in the field on both sides of us, but we couldn't really see them. Though the sky was still lit, the sun had gone down completely and everything on the ground had turned deep purple. The clouds were shadows now. We had trouble even seeing the Pictionary cards in front of us. Just then, without any announcement, all the lights at the end of the field went on at once. And they were like big, bright stadium lights. I thought of that scene in Close Encounters when the alien ship lands and they're playing that music. Da da doo da dun da da. Everyone in the field started applauding and cheering like something great had just happened. Woo! Be kind to nature. An announcement came over the huge speakers next to the stadium lights. Welcome, everyone! Welcome to the 23rd Annual Big Movie Night at the Broarwood Nature Reserve. Welcome teachers and students from MS 342, the William Heath School, and so on and so on. A big cheer went up on the left side of the field. Welcome teachers and students from the Glover Academy. Another cheer went up, and this time from the right side of the field. And welcome teachers and students from the Beecher Prep School. Our whole group cheered as loudly as we could. Woo! We're thrilled to have you as our guests here tonight and thrilled that the weather is cooperating. In fact, can you believe what a beautiful night this is? Again, everyone whooped and hollered, woo woo! So as we prepare the movie, we do ask that you take a few moments to listen to this important announcement. The Broarwood Nature Reserve, as you know, is dedicated to preserving our natural resources and the environment. We ask that you leave no litter behind. Clean up after yourselves, be kind to nature, and it will be kind to you. We ask that you keep in mind as you walk through the wood around the grounds, do not venture beyond the orange cones and the edges of the fairgrounds. Do not go into the cornfields or the woods. Please keep the free roaming to a minimum. Even if you don't feel like watching the movie, your fellow students may feel otherwise. So please be courteous. No talking, no playing music, and no running around. The restrooms are located on the other side of the concession stands. After the movie is over, it will be quite dark, so we ask that all of you stay with your schools as you make your way back to your buses. Teachers, there's usually at least one lost party on big movie nights at Broarwood. Don't let it happen to you. Tonight's movie presentation will be The Sound of Music. I immediately started clapping, yeah, even though I'd seen it a few times before, because it was Via's most favorite movie of all time. But I was surprised that a whole bunch of kids not from Beecher booed and hissed and laughed. Someone from the right side of the field even threw a soda can at the screen, which seemed to surprise Mr. Tushman. I saw him stand up and look in the direction of the can thrower, though I knew he couldn't see anything in the dark. The movie started playing right away. The stadium lights dimmed. Maria the nun was standing at the top of the mountain, twirling around and around. It had gotten chilly all of a sudden. It had gotten chilly all of a sudden. So I put on my yellow Montauk hoodie and adjusted the volume on my hearing aids and leaned against my backpack and started watching. The hills are alive. So far, it sounds like he's having a great time, huh? The woods are alive. Somewhere around the boring part where the guy named Rolf and the oldest daughter are singing "You Are 16, going on 17," Jack nudged me. "Dude, I gotta pee," he said. We both got up and kind of hopscotched over to the kids who were sitting or lying down on the sleeping bags. Summer waved as we passed, and I waved back. There were lots of kids from other schools walking around the food trucks, playing the carnival games, or just hanging out. Of course, there was a huge line for the toilets. "Forget this. I'll just find a tree," said Jack. "Oh, that's gross, Jack. Let's just wait," I answered. But he headed off to the rows of trees at the edge of the field, which was past the orange cones that we were specifically told not to go past. Alert, alert, alert. What do you guys think? Should they cross the cones? They're breaking the rules. Is Augie going to do it? Here we go. And of course, I followed him. Guys, are you going to be followers or leaders in life? All right, and of course, we didn't have our flashlights because we forgot to bring them. It was so dark now that we literally couldn't see 10 steps ahead of us as we walked toward the woods. Luckily, the movie gave off some light, so when we saw a flashlight coming towards us out of the woods, we knew immediately that it was Henry, Miles, and Amos. I guess that they hadn't wanted to wait on the line to those toilets either. Miles and Henry were still not talking to Jack, but Amos had let go of the war a while ago, and he nodded hello to us as they passed by. "Be careful of the bears," shouted Henry, and he and Miles laughed as they walked away. Amos shook his head at us like, ugh, don't pay attention to them. Jack and I walked a little farther until we were just inside the woods. Then Jack hunted around for the perfect tree and finally did his business, though I felt like he was taking forever. The woods were loud with strange sounds and chirps and croaks, like a wall of noise coming out of the trees. Then we started hearing loud snaps not far from us, almost like gun pops. That definitely weren't insect noises. Far away, like in another world, we could hear raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, as part of the movie. "Ah, that's much better," said Jack, zipping up. "Now I have to pee," I said, which I did on the nearest tree. No way I was going farther in like Jack did. "Do you smell that, like firecrackers?" he said, coming over to me. "Yeah, what is that?" I said. "I don't know, it's weird. Let's go." "Alien!" Do you think they saw an alien? We headed back to the way that we came, in the direction of the giant screen. And that's when we walked straight into a group of kids we didn't know. They'd just come out of the woods, doing some stuff I'm sure they didn't want their teachers to know about. I could smell the smoke now, the smell of both firecrackers and cigarettes. They pointed a flashlight at us, and there were 6 of them, 4 boys and 2 girls, and they looked like they were in the 7th grade. "What school are you from?" one of the boys called out. "Beecher Prep," Jack started to answer, when all of a sudden one of the girls started screaming, "Ah, oh my gosh!" She shrieked, holding her hand over her eyes like she was crying. I figured maybe a huge bug had just flown into her face or something. I don't know what's going on. "No way!" one of the boys cried out as he started flicking his hand in the air like he'd just touched something hot. And then he covered his mouth. "No way, man, no way!" All of a sudden, all of them started half laughing and half covering their eyes now, pushing each other and cursing loudly. "What is that?" said the kid who was pointing the flashlight at us. And it was only then that I realized that the flashlight was pointed right at my face. And what they were talking about, screaming about, it was me. "Let's get out of here," Jack said to me quietly, and he pulled me by my sweatshirt sleeve and started walking away from them. Wait, yelled the guy with the flashlight, cutting us off. He pointed the flashlight right at my face again. And now he was only about 5 feet away. Oh man, he said, shaking his head, mouth wide open. "What happened to your face?" "Stop it, Eddie," said one of the girls. "I didn't know we were watching Lord of the Rings tonight," he said. "Look, guys, it's Gollum." This made his friends hysterical. These kids can be so mean sometimes, guys. Make sure you're not hanging out with people like that. Make sure you're not the people ever making fun of somebody like that. Especially not about the way that they look, naturally. Again, we tried to walk away from them, and the kid named Eddie cut us off. And he was at least a head taller than Jack, who was about a head taller than me, so the guy looked huge to me. "No, man, it's alien," said one of the other kids. No, man, it's an orc," laughed Eddie, pointing the flashlight in my face again, and this time he was right in front of us. "Leave him alone, okay?" said Jack, pushing the hand holding the flashlight away. "Make me," answered Eddie, pointing the flashlight in Jack's face now. "What's your problem, dude?" said Jack. "Your boyfriend's my problem." Man, these guys are rude. "Jack, let's just go," I said, pulling him by the arm. "Oh man, it talks," screamed Eddie, shining the flashlight in my face again. And then one of the other guys threw a firecracker at our feet, and Jack tried to push past Eddie, but Eddie shoved in his hands and Jack's shoulders and pushed him hard, which made Jack fall backwards. "Eddie!" screamed one of the girls.